because that show, which is a show on the History Channel, was about people trying to isolate themselves on an island and survive as long as they could, and the last person won like $500,000. And the stuff that these people did to keep themselves sane while they were
Oh,
alone
well, you got to say
was
it
pretty
now.
funny.
No, you have to say it now. So what's an
Well,
exact?
okay,
Because
so
we
one
need our
guy made a
listeners
bowling
might
alley.
our listeners just as a preface, our listeners might need something to do. So you're helping them out right now.
Well, let me just say that the people in this show were people who were survivalists, who were trained
Oh,
survivalists, so
okay.
they knew what they were doing and stuff like that. But all right, everyone, welcome to another edition of Game Wild, COVID-19 edition. No.
Coronavirus edition. I mean, that's basically accurate.
Yep. So, guys, first off, let's start with, we hope anyone who's listening to this is safe and secure financially in any way they have to be and all that stuff. So we just want to make sure that all of our fans are okay. So please, be safe out there, practice social distancing and everything else that you need to do.
Yeah, listen, everybody, stay healthy and so just so everybody knows, you're not alone. I got laid off Friday as well. It's not a big deal. Claim unemployment, whatever state you're listening from. Do what you got to do to get things done, and like he said, be stable financially. And probably what's more important than social distancing, at least for me personally, is staying healthy, like yourself, which means find a gym or work out at home. Gyms are obviously closed. In my case, my dad has a gym in his basement, so I'm hitting that up as much as possible. Just try to do things to stay active and get up off the couch and stuff like that, because you'll get into your head if you start just sitting around doing nothing for a while, and even if you are playing video games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with all that being said, hopefully this is a little bit of escape for you if you're listening to this while at home, in any capacity that you are at home or whatever you may be doing. So we just want to thank everyone for joining us once again. If you have not, please rate us 5 stars on any podcast app that will give you that, especially Apple, and make sure you write a review about us. We always appreciate that. So we thank everyone who does do that. And I think really we just need to jump right into everything that's going on, because this is really going to be about what COVID-19 has done to this nation in regards to the gaming world. And it looks like the first thing we're going to be talking about is really retailers, and specifically GameStop.
One retailer.
Because they're really the only ones that are, I guess, solid in the video game world. I mean, you have your Best Buys, your Walmarts, your Targets that sell video games, but these are small stores for the most part that sell video games. And when I see small stores, I mean square footage wise, that just focus on selling video games. There are a few that are pretty big, but most of the ones that are in malls and in some of the shopping plazas aren't super big. But in general, the fact of the matter is that they're trying to be essential.
Well, businesses. Dude, what gets me? Do you want to hear why they think they're essential? Here we go. This is why they're arguing they're essential. All right. This is quoted from the article too on WJCL, whatever that is. The company argues it is essential, quote unquote, because it offers mice and keyboards that can help people work from home. GameStop told CNN Business in a statement that, quote unquote, we are one of many providers of these products that are remaining open at this time. It didn't comment on why it must remain open if other stores are also providing those items. So, I know as a gamer, I have a keyboard and I have a mouse. These are not keyboards and mice that would be found in an office at all. And I think that's the issue here with this argument from GameStop, because they don't sell $5 wireless Microsoft mice, which Best Buy sells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, let me comment. because I think that it's important to note that yes, in respect, you are 100% right that you're not going to get your standard Amazon basic mouse from GameStop. You're going to get a higher end keyboard and mouse that has way more buttons than anyone in an office would need. But at the end of the day, I'll just say that when it comes down to the nitty gritty and everything's sold out, people are going to have to end up buying things that they wouldn't normally buy
Yeah, I agree.
for their people. Although at this point in time, I think everyone should have the majority of their stuff done in regards to people working from home and
Yeah.
essential items that they need and things of that nature. So I don't know exactly what they're going to need to stay open for longer than this week, if that. So
I don't think there's going to be, I don't think people are going to be working for, I don't think there's going to be as many people working from home that will actually sell out, like you're saying, like Best Buy sells out, so they have to buy gaming, mice and keyboard. Because eventually, a lot of people working from home right now, like I'm a perfect example, they're going to start working from home, and then eventually the business is just going to close entirely because it's a non-essential service, unless you're in emergency business, right? Or if your position just isn't considered essential to the operation of that emergency business. So I don't think that's ever going to be a point. So I still don't think that argument on the part of GameStop is valid. I would personally argue selling the games themselves might actually be more important, simply because of people's sanity of staying into quarantine, which is another article that we found as well. But now on it, that's kind of joking half-heartedly. Like, obviously you can download the video games online, so it doesn't really make sense to keep GameStop open because of that. I don't know, but I just think it's hysterical that they're staying open. Now, Joe, did you have time to read this whole article, or?
Oh, I touched my face. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh God.
Oh
no, God! Wait, do I have to disinfect my whole room now? Oh wait, that's right. We're doing this remote. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I have I disinfect my hands all the time with as much
Yo, let me get some of that disinfectant, bro. I'll give you $40. $40 a bottle. What do you want?
Okay, whatever we can do, we'll work it out. Price gouging.
Oh God.
So no, I didn't have a chance to read through all of it. I do know people who run GameStops in Rhode Island, and I know that they're,
not happy,
dealing with what they have to deal with. I mean, they signed up for retail. Retail is a very strange world.
Vicious
because
beast.
Some things are like, hey, we're gonna close, and some things are like, no, we can stay open.
Well, here's why, and here's the retail side of it, right? And that's why I asked if you read the article too, because in this article it also mentioned, and this is a tribute to gamers everywhere. So I'm so happy this is happening right now. Not that the coronavirus is happening, don't get me wrong, but that everybody's so focused on gaming now. It says the online PC game store Steam, which you guys may have heard of, reported an all-time high of 20 million users on Friday. So you literally have everybody in the world right now at some point is going to be logging in to play video games. And GameStop, from a upper management perspective, this is where I can totally understand where they're coming from a business, setting. They're like, oh my God, guys, this is like the time to make a crap ton of money on video games. And they're not price gouging, because it's not like they're upping all the prices on video games, right? They're just
can't, because there's, funny enough, this is one of the areas where supply and demand will never be over the top, because there's digital now.
Yeah, exactly.
If this was 20 years ago, because they're not manufacturing discs, they're not manufacturing cartridges or anything like that. So yeah, absolutely. If this was 20 years ago, GameStop probably could say, well, we're essential to entertainment, and the fact that people can't go out of their homes, that we can do this. But guess what? I bought Animal Crossing this morning for myself and my daughter, and you know how I did it? I did it by downloading it on the Nintendo eShop.
Oh, you're making me feel bad that I don't have it yet. I hate you, Joe.
I know, but I did it through the Nintendo eShop. It was really simple to do, just like any game that you buy online. And we did go out this morning to pick up some coffee. And
you're alive. You made it.
And yeah, we didn't have to get out of our car, but we went into a plaza that had a GameStop, and I looked at it and I said, well, why go to the GameStop and risk infection when I could just order it online? Because when you're going through a drive-through, you're not really making too much contact. They just handed us the drinks and that was it because we pre-ordered everything. We did everything,
I did
and
that for food last night too. Yeah.
and I got to tell you, it's great that all these apps are out there, and I haven't used a lot of them, but I am now because
Oh yeah.
there's barely any interaction that you need to have with someone to get anything, whether it's food or drink or anything like that. I downloaded that Stop and Shop card that you showed me
Oh yeah, yeah,
yesterday, so
yeah.
I got that done.
Yep.
I got that done because I totally didn't think of that. And
Now, doesn't that scare you a little bit too, though?
What?
Because think about what you're saying. You're like, well, with all these apps, we don't have to interact with a single person. Like, so doesn't that thought kind of scare you a little bit though? Like, all right, we're creating all these things in this world that we don't have to even be around each other. We could just be antisocial.
We could, but I think they've been around long enough where this would have already happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, the DD Perks app for Dunkin' Donuts, the Starbucks app has been around for a decent amount of time where I feel like, just people will still interact. And, I ordered out last night at a barbecue place because I wanted to support their local business because they've been working really hard in regards to giving out free lunches. Well, they're giving out free lunches to kids.
That's cool.
Stuff like that. So, I spent some decent money on barbecue last night, and I'm gonna reheat some of it for lunch today. So I'll make it last. But I did go crazy shopping, so I've also purchased a lot of food and things that are going to be needed for a possible like state-wide quarantine if it happens. We both live in Rhode Island, which has not mandated a stay-at-home situation yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
But they are saying, hey, just make sure you stay home as much as possible and just go out for essentials, which I've been trying to do as much as possible. But yep, so I'm just trying to balance the whole situation of how much time do you keep with the stuff you have in your home so you can make it last when you can't go out, versus you still can go out, so do what you can now before, and I'm trying to balance that where interaction is minimal. But on this video game side of things, it's really crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm trying to balance how much video games I'm playing versus how much exercise I'm getting. That's probably my only concern right now. just to throw that out there. But no, I 100% I hear what you're saying. And yeah, I agree. I feel like if we were gonna all be an antisocial society, it would have already happened with all the antisocial stuff that we have. So it hasn't. So kudos to everybody out there for wanting to talk and be involved with other people. So coming out of your shell.
And let's hope that everyone's safe at the GameStop stores. I'm sure they've put a lot of policies and procedures in place to keep people safe from it. Because I remember when I ran a video game store that a lot of the game interaction was, conversation. It was just talking to people about games, getting them hyped about stuff, sharing experiences and stories. And so you can't really do that too much because you just want to get your game and get out. I mean, it's just, the experience is going to be a little different going forward.
Oh, everything's different. So. I went to Dave's with my roommate yesterday, which Dave's, for you guys listening from out of state, Dave's is a local supermarket, just like, a Stop and Shop or something like that. And we walked in and I told him, I'm like, you can tell everybody is like staring at everybody, like making sure, like waiting. Like I feel like if I cough or sneeze, I'm gonna get jumped or like kicked out of the building. Like I could not be sick at all, but just because I'm like clearing my throat or something, or some particle gets up my nose and I sneeze, everybody thinks I'm like a zombie now. So that's it's very zombie apocalyptic feeling to for all you gamers out there. It's kind of what it feels like. So now here's another interesting point I want to bring up with this GameStop thing too is, and this is just a realistic thing, right? So from corporate, they want to make a ton of money because it's a perfect time to be open right now. Mad people are going to want video games. I'm actually thinking about going to GameStop to get a Switch now because I can't find it anywhere else now that you mentioned that, if they are open.
Well, I don't know if they have any Switches.
They might not. They might not, especially with Animal Crossing.
The lights are the ones that are
those are available. Can you get a light and then get like a docking station for a light? Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, no, I want the full thing then. Only want the real thing, all right? But anyways,
the full thing. The answer is yes, you could.
Oh wait, I can get the light and then get a docking station?
No.
No.
So it looks like
my hopes and dreams
Smithfield store has it.
Oh, okay, so they do have some.
Ordered.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it says order by 7 p.m. local, 4 p.m. Sunday to pick up today. No store pickup items available. Oh, it says no store. But why does it say you can pick it up then? That doesn't make sense.
It's probably because of the whole coronavirus thing. So
Hold on.
who knows. But I don't know. That's just something that's on my list now of considerations. But besides that, here's my question, because they had a bunch of comments from people from GameStop that are working there. A lot of them are unhappy that they're being put at risk for the disease and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then you got one guy that's like, well, I'm just happy I'm working. So you could sit there and say it's a risk to stay open, but at the same token, our economy is getting more and more screwed by the day. So, what's more important at that point? I mean, do you have one person just chill at the GameStop and operate the GameStop and just be really careful with interactions with customers, or do you completely close down and ruin the economy more? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a very ethical discussion there as to what's more important, but I do think it's a bit of a different take on why they should stay open or why they should stay closed. Because
it's weird. It really just makes a very odd, like, the way a GameStop had it. It looked like it was available, but it doesn't actually look like it's available. So
no,
pick up at store. So here's what I would suggest to you,
Joe. Don't do this to me.
I would suggest doing what you would have done 10 years ago. Call them.
Wait, what? We can do that? That's a thing? Oh, yeah. God. I know. I probably will.
But I don't think they're available. I really don't. It's at least the docked ones.
All right, well, let's get into.
I'll sell you mine for $500.
Oh yeah, all right, Mr. Price Gouger. They're starting to arrest people now for price gouging, and Amazon is cracking down on people they're banning accounts on Amazon's website for selling anything that looks like price gouging, and they're using AI to do it too. So if it just like auto detects and thinks somebody's price gouging, if it detects like an influx in price,
well, I wonder, because I'm looking at it right now, and you can buy them online on Amazon, and the new ones are anywhere between $389 to $403, and used ones are being sold for the same price as these new ones. So if you're telling me that they're worried about price gouging, anyone who's selling a Switch right now, should be shut down immediately.
Yeah, but supply and demand is different than price gouging. I think that's a supply and demand issue, because China is having issues getting shit out of China.
Yeah, but you don't think that's a price gouge?
No, I think anything more than a certain percentage is probably what they're looking for. So let's say 50%. Oh. So if it's 300, usually anything over 450 might be price gouging. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So anything that's, you could have $100 influx in price any day on any given item just because shipping costs go up, whether it be transportation or an embargo or something like that on freight. So it's, there's a lot of different shit that can go on. But I guess I'm not getting it online now, because I just looked at it the other day and it was $300. So like, what the Christ? So it definitely went up.
$300 if you buy it from a reputable place.
Oh, okay. All right. But there's other random sellers selling it for $400.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
But they don't. But like Amazon,
it's also 2 weeks out though. If you buy it from a reputable place, it's 2 weeks out right now, I think.
Well, to be honest with you, isn't that what wouldn't you do that now then to get it out of the way?
Unless I can find it at a GameStop. So if I can find it at a GameStop, and they're selling it for a normal price, then I'll do that.
I just went on Nintendo's website and it just says like out of stock, out of stock. When you find it online, and then it just says like find it nearby, because I was going on.
It's funny, it's funny, right? Because PS4 has outsold all the systems. So it's funny how now it seems like everybody is now wanting to go buy the Switch, and I wonder why that is. Like, what sort of nostalgic effect does the Switch have on being quarantined?
Can I tell you that I don't think it's nostalgia? I think it's people with kids who are like, I need to keep my kids.
And they think the Switch is more of a kid's system. That's probably more accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like Animal Crossing, especially. This is good timing for Nintendo. They're gonna make bank off of Switches with Animal Crossing. That's insane.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, and I will download some digital stuff for Animal Crossing if they do some Doom stuff.
Oh, I want to play Animal Crossing now. God, stop talking about it, Joe.
Listen, if you want it that bad, get the light and just deal with it.
I guess.
And then when things get back to normal, sell it.
Isn't the
keep
light
it
basically
and give
a
it to
DS?
Steve.
Isn't it just like a Nintendo DS?
No,
Handheld.
and give it to Steph once you're done, and then get the system when it's done. If you want to play it that bad, get the light, which is still available in some places.
I might. Yeah, Walmart had a light. So
and then give it to Steph when you get a regular one down the road.
we'll
so you have
see.
something.
This to be continued on the next podcast.
Dun dun
If I
dun.
get
We'll
this or
give you
not.
the COVID-19 Nintendo Switch updates for SJW.
All right, so now the next thing I want to touch on, which we've already mentioned a little bit, is this idea of sanity during the quarantine. So this is more of a psychological part of video games, but what are your thoughts, Joe, on the use of video games to keep your mind, busy while you're quarantined, or really in any situation where you're just kind of stuck home alone, need something to do? You think video games are good, bad, sideways? What do you think?
No, I think video games are good. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be doing podcasts about video games and things like that if we didn't think that they weren't good. You know what I mean?
Touche.
I just don't.
Touche.
I think they bring a level of entertainment that people need, and there's tons of different forms of entertainment. And listen, this is a video game podcast, but I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that movie companies are doing right now is out of control, but like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like, for example, as a father, Trolls is coming out, and Trolls is going to be available on demand the same day it would have came out in theaters. You can rent it for 48 hours at $20. Okay, so think about this. So I have a family of 3: myself, my daughter, and my wife. Okay, if we all went to the movie theater together, we would have spent over $30 for tickets alone, let alone, well, maybe probably like 25, because I don't know how much kids are, but probably would have spent 25 to 30 bucks on tickets alone, not to mention any concessions. Okay, so instead, when Trolls comes out on demand, which is one of our favorite shows, we can rent it for 20 bucks, have it for 48 hours, number one, so we're not just taking it in for 2 hours or an hour and 20 minutes or ever how long the movie is, and we can watch it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that makes up for a lot of the lost revenue that movie companies have now because of pirating and digital copies and stuff like that.
Well, not just that, but I mean the fact that movie theaters are closed, and then you have Disney making like a power move with Onward, which is another movie that just came out. It just came out a few weeks ago, and now they're like, hey, digital now on demand. You can rent it right now.
Yep.
Or buy it. I don't know if it's rentable or buyable. I don't know exactly the point, but the beginning of April, guess what? If you have a Disney Plus account, Onward is going to be available right away for Disney Plus subscribers.
That's like, so we had this other article that I had here with dozens of games are free. So, and I think there's a lot of companies that are adopting this right now. And I think it's, again, obviously, movie theaters are closed. They're losing a crap ton of revenue because of that. And everybody's trying to kind of scramble to make up, for what they're losing. And that translates to the consumer in the form of having things faster and having things freer. is that a word? Because the amount of games that they have, like, let me pull up this list too. So this, to get back to the video game portion of this, which I actually have a question about the movies I want to ask you in a second too.
Sure.
So we have things like right now on PS4, if you have PS Plus, you have Shadow of the Colossus and Sonic Forces. Xbox One is Crackdown, Crackdown 2, and 2 Human, which Crackdown and Crackdown 2 are good games. Games with Gold, if you have Xbox Gold. Batman, The Enemy Within, Shantae, Half Genie Hero, Sonic Generations. And listen, if you go to PC, GOG and Steam, holy crack. Like, you have enough games to keep you busy for a while, honestly.
Yeah, you do.
And even Twitch Prime. If you have a freaking Prime membership and you have a Twitch account, they're now offering Bomber Crew, Epper Story, Type of Chronicles, Fury, Mugsters, and Whispers of a Machine. I don't know what all 5 of those games are, but all what I can tell you is that that's stuff that'll keep you busy. And if you're really looking for things to do as a gamer, there's plenty of free stuff to keep you busy right now. So
yeah, absolutely. No, this is true.
So movies. I have a question.
But sure.
So because I asked about the sanity thing, right? So and playing video games to keep your sanity, and you said, okay, generally video games are good. Now, movies. Would you rather that let's use your child, right? Because I feel like that'll get a more honest answer. So your daughter, okay?
Well, I would have answered honestly if you asked it about me.
Well, not honest. I mean, it just gets you to think in a little bit different of a way, right? So, would you rather your daughter spend free time if she had nothing to do, like there's nothing, she's quarantined, she can't go to school like it is now, and you want her to do something constructive, you want her to do something with her time, would you rather her watch movies like the one you just mentioned for the $20, or would you rather her play video games?
Well, honestly, I would rather her play video games, and the reason why is because it offers critical thinking skills. There's more skill based. You're interacting with something, you're trying to think, you're trying to solve problems. Depending on what game you're playing too, they have games that help with words, math, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think at a higher level, gaming can be everything for learning.
Now if you're Joe Blow, if you're Joe Blow and you're 20, I'm 29, if you're 29 years old, 28 years old, and you're sitting on your couch and you're quarantined, you got nothing to do, movies or video games?
Video games.
Cool. 100%. All right, yeah, I agree 100% too. I think
that it's like, hey, you do have to break up the monotony of it, and sometimes it's not easy to play a game all day. Sometimes.
Yeah, trust me.
Break it up a little bit.
I've played League of Legends enough to know that I can't smash my face into a keyboard for 5 hours straight and not get tired.
So it's good to break it up with movies and maybe even going outside for a minute and kind of taking it all in, because even if there is a quarantine, you can still go out. You can still, well, you can't now, but you can still go outside.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And go into your property, do something. So it's still something to be said that, video games are important because you can learn from them. You can grow from them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. And growing up, I think that I have learned a lot of what I've learned from playing video games as well. And like my parents always let me play video games from like 4 years old. I was playing Grand Theft Auto, I think at like, I don't know, 8. So like just to give you an idea, because I know most parents nowadays would probably like, oh my god, Grand Theft Auto, I don't want my kids shooting up a school. Like,
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen nowadays, and
because of that,
I did not shoot up a school. So let's just throw that out there. And I did watch it from being 8 years old, or sorry, play it from being 8 years old. And I don't know. I think Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy, whatever games I was playing, I think I learned a ton. I think generally speaking, when you play video games in your free time, you have nothing else to do, you're keeping your mind active. I think old people should also play video games. I very truly, wholeheartedly believe old, like 60 plus, like retired, 70 plus, if you want to keep sharp, play video games. I 100% agree in that.
Exactly. So, and even if it's like the brain games type situation and the stuff that keeps your mind kind of flowing, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't have to be Final Fantasy. It could be stuff like
well,
mind games and things like that to help you.
So. Like even Bejeweled, because I know tons of old people love Bejeweled. I don't know what it is, but every person I know that's like a mom or a dad that's 40 or 50 or grandma or grandpa, for some reason they magnetize to Bejeweled and they just love that game. It's like being in a casino playing that. I can't play that game. It literally reminds me of a casino.
That's really the point. Yeah, just, it feels that way. It's very addicting in some respects. So, yeah, guys. I mean, and so GameSpot was the one who dropped the article in regards to what's free. So we'll have that linked in. We'll have that linked in there, so you guys can see what is free, and if any of those games look tempting to you, by all means, download them and play them because they're free for you.
Oh yes, and all right. So now we got. Xbox Live. Tisk, tisk, tisk. So Xbox Live was supposedly down 3 times in the last week. So now obviously this is probably due to a surge in server capacity that they have never expected or did not ever expect to occur. This was actually from VentureBeat, and it literally says the title of this is Xbox Live is down again as people play more games in self-isolation. So that is, again, a tribute to everybody playing so many video games right now. So I guess I'll open up with another question to you, Joe.
Yeah.
What are you at all concerned? So besides Xbox and whatever shortcomings they might have right now with this, Are you at all concerned of Xbox or PlayStation or Steam or any networks in general just kind of shitting the bed, like at a certain point of this quarantine?
No, I don't, and I'll tell you why. I think we are a very flexible world now when it comes to this stuff, and from everything that I've read from ISPs and places like that, they are working on making sure that they understand the demand is going to be high, and that they are working diligently to make sure that everyone can get everything they normally do um, at a higher rate because we know that it's going to be so congested. Could we see delays? Could we see stuff? Absolutely. We've already seen it with Xbox, but I think we have enough available to us to be able to solve those problems and work through them. Could there be a massive fail of a company in regard to like being out for an extended period of time? Sure, there could be, but I don't think it's going to happen often. I think they're going to take this seriously now and say, okay, half of the world, if not the majority of the world, is going to be self quarantine and need things to do. And internet, video games are going to be a part of that. But their online memberships that they pay for are also going to be important. And I think it's going to be important that they take steps and measures to make sure that we can play online and do that stuff. And I think Xbox is getting hit with it now, and they'll be fixed. Seems like they've isolated a lot of the problems from what it says in this article. So I think they're going to be okay. And I think the same is going to be said for the PlayStation Network, for the Nintendo Online Network. And I know Steam had some issues with certain games being, downloaded and purchased throughout the week. But they got through it. We were able to still do it if we wanted to. Yeah.
Might just
So
take a
I
little
think
longer.
that
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have hiccups. This is new territory for the entire world. Okay.
No, I agree.
Totally new territory for the entire world. So I think there's gonna be mistakes that happen. There's gonna be hiccups. It's just a matter of how do you overcome those, and what do you do to keep it straightforward.
So now, do you think that the servers, so like the people that are actually monitoring these servers and trying to, like you said, getting them up and running to prepare for any influx of
Mhm.
additional gamers and stuff that might happen, is this considered an emergency function to keep servers up and running? I can imagine like it's an emergency to keep government servers, let's say, up and running, or
Mhm.
like overall internet servers up and running for the world. But are gaming servers, like, do you think that those are one of the first things? Like, do you think the government would actually mandate that PlayStation closes down those
Um,
operations?
From everything that I've read, I don't think, and these ISPs are the ones that are going to be controlling a lot of this stuff, like the Comcasts of the world, the Verizons,
Mm-hmm.
people like that, and they don't seem to be worried. And so, if they're not worried about it, I don't think that there's going to be a case where it's going to get to such a capacity. Because let's also remember, a lot of the government buildings are probably going to get shut down, so it's going to
Yeah.
be essential government personnel only, things like that. So I don't think so. I think the important piece is also going to be on how people stay sane, so we don't have a rioting type situation or people fighting over toilet paper like we already have, stuff like that. You know what
You
I mean?
just
Like,
had to put
gotta
that in
be,
there again, huh?
of course, absolutely.
Well, yeah, and I agree because the second the internet goes kaput, I think everybody loses their shit. Like,
Right,
now,
because here's the thing about it, right? You can't interact with people on a physical level. So it'd be one thing to say, people could still interact on a physical level. So if there were no video games or if there were no online stuff, what do you do? So if we
nothing.
lose the ability to keep in contact with people on a digital level or be able to just play games on a digital level and be sane, what do you do? Because at that point, you're might as well watch alone, because that show, which is a show on the History Channel, was about people trying to isolate themselves on an island and survive as long as they could, and the last person won like $500,000. And the stuff that these people did to keep themselves sane while they were alone
Well, you got to
were
say
was
it
pretty
now.
funny.
No, you have to say it now. So what's an
Well,
example?
okay,
Because
so
we
one
need our
guy made a
listeners
bowling
might
alley.
our listeners just as a preface, our listeners might need something to do. So you're
Oh well.
helping them out right now.
Well, let me just say that the people in the show were people who were survivalists, who were trained
Oh,
survivalists, so
okay.
they knew what they were doing and stuff like that. But like one guy created like a small bowling alley with wood, so like he made pins and like a ball, a lot of wood and stuff like that.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
great.
made different things like just woodworking, like carving statues and stuff, or like little toys and things of that nature.
Oh God,
You
you
know,
just had me envision like cutting down a tree in my backyard now, like building a fort and shit. Like I got all this.
well, that's what they had to do too. They had to build a shelter, so they were
Yeah, yeah,
cutting down
yeah.
trees, putting stuff. So, but that's what I would taken it to if we lost digital means as well
Yeah.
to communicate with people, to interact, even just on a regular social level, like a FaceTime or something like that. Not even playing video games online.
Well, now as far as so here's the deal though, right? Let's say everybody in the U.S. is in their house. Every single person, from the president all the way down to the last guy. Do we have at this point, and I think we do personally, but do you think we have at this point the capability to just operate all internet, all networking functionality, all everything remotely? Like people would not even actually have to be on site.
I mean, I think in some capacity, yes, for the most part, but at some point, if something were to happen,
Somebody
you
would
would
have to
need
go
some
in.
people.
Yeah. But I don't think that. I just think until there's a serious problem, the actual
Right.
physical
Most of the stuff can be
technology.
monitored. The majority of stuff can be monitored remotely, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then,
Absolutely.
so I don't think it's ever really going to be a question of people. I don't think the internet's ever really going to go down. So it's like
No.
that. It's like that meme that I saw. It was like your grandparents went to war.
Or now you just have to sit on your couch.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
screw it
yeah.
up, you know?
That's like we literally are living in the best time to be quarantined. Like
Right.
when you really think about it, because if you were quarantined 200 years ago, what are you doing? You're sitting with a candle with a book. That's what you're doing, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, you're learning, right? But that's essentially what you're doing. So, so now let me just for all of you Xbox Live peeps out there, I'm gonna read this this excerpt quick just so you know what the actual issue is. It may or may not happen again. I don't know. They do say they're working on it, but where is this right here? This outage is preventing people from logging into Xbox Live. It's also causing multiple issues with social features like parties and matchmaking. This is preventing online multiplayer from functioning properly. But more broadly, people are encountering issues getting into games or matches in Call of Duty and more. Dude, the Call of Duty, if you look at Twitch, the amount of people actively playing Call of Duty right now is insane.
I bet you it's crazy, yeah.
So I honestly think this is more so just Call of Duty than Xbox. I think it's probably just so many people are trying to play Call of Duty right now.
Right.
It's breaking the system. So
Yeah.
Microsoft did release a statement. They did say, we believe we have identified the issue causing some members to have problems signing into Xbox Live. Thanks for your patience as the team works to resolve the issue. So they are working on it, like you said. They're going to fix it to optimize it. So we'll see what happens with that. But all right. Let's see.
So
next up
I think it's time for the game releases. What's coming out? What can you play in isolation is really what's going to be the next thing. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm trying to at least try one game a week if I can from what we go through the game releases. And last week I tried Green and Orcs Life, which came out on Steam on March 17th.
Actually
and it was under $10, so I figured I'd buy it, and I don't recommend anyone buy that game. It was
what? Way to just get to the point. It's just don't buy it.
It's like basically a card comes up and then you swipe left or right, and based upon the left or right action, which they pop up like what you're going to do if you swipe left or if you swipe right, your orc's constitution, strength, things like that go up or down depending on your choices. It's just kind of boring, and it just doesn't really feel like there's a lot of meat to it. So I wouldn't recommend that one. But I just want to let you know because I was intrigued. I always get intrigued by things that could be different in trial, but I think the game needs a lot of work. But I commend those people who try to make those games because they're trying to get in and they're trying to make something. I just think that the execution is lacking and it needs a lot of work, but it's a good concept.
You're giving it the good concept badge, huh?
Well, yeah.
That's kind of like I'm not. Right. That's kind of like saying I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Well, I am disappointed
like the game sucks, but it's a good concept.
Yeah, there are a lot of good concepts that aren't, applied properly, and they just fail.
There's a ton of good concepts. Unfortunately, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it's because it's an indie game developer that doesn't necessarily have
or
the
in
money.
This case, probably like one person.
Or yeah, wow, you really think it was just one person? What was the company that made it?
I don't know. I didn't really look it up.
So I'm gonna start going through these game releases.
So let's start with the one that I'm probably going to review next, and that's Bleeding Edge that comes out on the 24th, which is this Tuesday, which means that I'll probably be streaming it, and depending on what it's available for on my Xbox Ultimate Pass, because I know it is going to be available on Xbox. So if it's available on the
let me, because I want to do this with there's two games that are coming out that are pretty big, and it's Bleeding Edge, which is what he's talking about, which is March 24th, and Half-Life Alyx, which is March 23rd. So just before you get into what you're going to do with the review, I just want to kind of read what Bleeding Edge is.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
This and Half-Life Alyx, because these are two games that I think have the potential to be pretty big. And Half-Life Alyx, with it being VR, obviously could. I don't know. It's a toss-up. We'll see. Sure. VR is always a toss-up. So, anyways, so Bleeding Edge, for those of you who don't know, it was recently in beta. I was gonna play the beta and I totally whiffed on it. Yeah, I totally whiffed. So this is a 4v4 team fighter, which is interesting. So that leads me to first believe that it's like a MOBA, but for fighters, right? For like a fighting game. It says experience one-of-a-kind multiplayer that fuses combo mechanics with dynamic third-person action. Team up and execute powerful synergized attacks to become an unstoppable force in the face of your enemies. Freeze foes in time, control mines, ride missiles, and unleash electrifying guitar solos in a fast-paced yet strategic combat system that rewards technique, timing, and teamwork. Give yourself an edge by creating unique loadouts for every fighter. Choose from hundreds of cybernetic mods to fully tailor your build to suit your personal playstyle, all earnable through gameplay. Customize each fighter's hoverboard, so they have hoverboards, with blazing trails, unique stickers, and slick paint jobs to ride with style across the arena. Man, they don't ever leave out being able to get custom mods for more money. It's always in every game now. And there's one other little excerpt here. Use your environment to your advantage with deadly arena hazards and gain the upper hand in moments of chaos. Yank opponents into a high voltage electric fence with Buttercup's buzzsaw, whilst Damon lies stealthily in wait. Charge enemy aggressors into the path of an oncoming train with Makutu's shoulder barge. Trap careless enemies within Maeve's magical cage and light a raging fire beneath their very feet. Now it just sounds like a MOBA. Now it just straight up sounds like a MOBA. Almost like Overwatch. You kind of get that feeling from that description.
Yeah, I guess you could say it could be very close to Overwatch for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm very curious. I'm kind of pissed I didn't play the beta now, because if it is like Overwatch or like sort of like a MOBA, I don't think it's gonna be top down. Or I don't know.
No, it's not. No, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. So if it's really pushing the whole fighting thing.
It definitely looks kind of like it's going to be first person in some respects. I didn't see.
You think it'll be first person?
Gameplay. Well, I mean, I'm sure that there's gameplay somewhere. If there's
Bleeding Edge a gameplay. Well, because here's my thought, right? Because if you're playing, they keep there we go. They keep pushing before I play this gameplay. They keep pushing that it's like fighting.
Yeah,
right?
someone just put in there like, "Is this the new Overwatch?" Bleeding Edge, and so yeah, I think it's definitely.
It's gonna be more like Overwatch. So yeah, let me find this preview real quick and play it. Oh, there we go. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, this looks even the loadout screen. So for those of you listening, we also have a YouTube channel. As always, we will put the video up here if you want to take a look at it. But just like quickly scrolling through it, it is it's third person. It's not first person.
Oh, third person even. So
it looks like it's third person.
That's still fine.
Overwatch is first person, right?
Overwatch is first person.
Yeah, so this is a third person Overwatch then.
There you go. Kind of like Fortnite.
Which, Fortnite's a battle royale though, so that.
No, I know, but like in regards to the way it looks, like.
I might like this better than Overwatch because I personally am not a fan of first person. I prefer third person or like League of Legends as a top down view like that. So, but yeah, it's Overwatch. This is Overwatch. It's the same thing. I know it's Overwatch with third person. So, I'm curious to see how that turns out then because Overwatch is still pretty popular. It's not insanely popular like people I think thought it was gonna be. Then again, Blizzard's kind of on the downslope, I think, as of late. Still looking out for Diablo 4, though. So, but yeah, so you're going to review that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to review it. It's because it does look like it is going to be on Game Pass, which I do have. So I will download it and play it on Tuesday night. I'm going to hope that it comes out. I have a mixture of things. Like, obviously, if you're able to get it as well on Tuesday, we could probably co-stream it and kind of review it together as we play.
Yeah.
If you have the Game Pass Ultimate, I think you can get it for $1. Then you'll be able to download that game and play it because obviously you can't stream Xbox yet, right? You haven't hooked up your.
Oh no, I got it hooked up. I can. Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah.
You tested it?
Dude, it works. It works. Good. I was trying to do Halo. But I want to like reformat my PC and stuff before I do all that because my PC is like just bogged down right now. So
yeah,
I gotta.
So it looks like it's going to be available for Windows 10 as well if you have Ultimate. So not just Xbox but also PC. So if you have the Ultimate, you should be able to download the Windows 10 version of Bleeding Edge. That's not the Steam version. It's the Windows Games version.
Okay.
So similar to if you bought it on an Epic Store versus Steam Store, etc. So if we can do that, we'll probably co-stream together. I got to give you my gamer tag. I can't believe we're not gamer friends on Xbox yet.
Oh God! Well, you know what it is. I haven't really played Xbox Live a lot.
Right.
Usually I'm playing PC now. So if
but the thing is that on Xbox you have to be if we're using the Windows 10 setup, you'd have to be. That's how it would be friends on Windows 10 because it's through the Xbox Live Game Pass stuff.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah, so guys, look forward to that. And anyone who is listening, please check out our stream on Tuesday night as it looks like we will be playing. And anyone else who may have the game or is going to get the game, let us know. And if you play it on your Windows PC, and I don't know if it's cross-platform where you could team up on Xbox and Windows 10, it's possible. I didn't look at that, but it's 4v4, so we're going to be looking for 2 people and to play with us.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
If you guys are interested, let us know. Please.
All right, so now let's get into Half-Life Alyx now. So this should be interesting. So Half-Life Alyx, which is not Half-Life 3, is coming out. So I will and honestly, listen, not for nothing, you guys should check out this website. So this is, I'm gonna put this on the on our video as well, but it's pretty cool. Joe, if you want to pull it up, if you just scroll down on the website, it's just a cool looking website, man. I've never been so impressed with a website. So anyways,
look, like if you pre-order it still, it's 10% off right now on the Steam store, it looks like.
Oh, nice. All right. So here's a quick overview of Half-Life Alyx. If you guys do not know or have not played Half-Life, or if you have played Half-Life, you don't know what the hell we're talking about with Alyx. This is set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Alyx Vance and her father Eli mount an early resistance to the Combine's brutal occupation of Earth. The loss of the 7-Hour War is still fresh. In the shadow of a rising Combine fortress known as the Citadel, residents of City 17 learn to live under the rule of their invaders. But among this scattered population are two of Earth's most resourceful scientists, Dr. Eli Vance and his daughter Alex, the founders of a fledgling resistance. So this is a VR game. This looks pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I just don't know how well it's going to translate. Did you ever play Resident Evil VR?
No, I haven't played any VR stuff.
See, I meant to get Resident Evil. I still haven't gotten it yet for VR. And I've played Beat Saber. I've played other VR games. Beat Saber, I think, right now, in my opinion, is probably the best VR game out there. Purely because the game itself is literally like, it would not exist if VR was not a thing, if that makes sense.
Right.
Or I guess it could, but it would just be like on the Wii, like where you wave the wands or whatever. So I don't know. I just always get worried about shooters being because this looks to be like a first person shooter type, Borderlands type deal. And I always get worried that the gameplay elements are actually a little dumbed down because they need to compensate for VR, if that makes sense. You just don't get that same gameplay feel. Now, you do obviously get the immersion feel because of the VR, but are you detracting from the gameplay to add to the immersion is what I'm saying. So,
right.
So I don't know.
And and I didn't even know this too, but Valve has a VR kit called the Valve Index VR kit.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's $1,000 for the full kit.
Of course.
You do get Half-Life Alyx as part of it. Gunskin, Steam VR home environments, and more. Customers who have purchased the Valve Index hardware before the game is released on Steam will have access to unique bonuses. It includes a headset, integrated headphones, cabling, connections to display ports and USB 3 connections, power supply, power adapters for regional, headset cradle adapter for small heads, headset face gasket, 2 controllers left and right, 2 controller lanyards, 2 USB controller charging cables, 2 Steam VR base stations, 2 15-foot base station power cables, 2 base station stands with mounting hardware, regionalized base station power adapter, and cleaning cloth.
Gotta have that cleaning cloth. That's what the $1,000 is for.
It requires Windows 10 or Steam OS and Linux. Those are the 2 OSs you can connect it up to.
Okay, so you can just get it for a Windows PC machine. So that's, I mean, that sounds extremely overpriced to me. You get a bunch of stuff, but I mean, you can get so many VRs for far less than $1,000 now.
Right.
I think like maybe $600-700.
I think that one of the biggest things too is that you can play. It's not like it's for like PC, so you're not structured to have to be like, oh, if I have a different type of system.
Yeah, but even doesn't the PC have like they have like Vive, right? Or what the heck?
I think so. Yeah, the Vive one. Or something.
And then they have there's like 3 others too. And that now the PC ones are the better VRs as opposed to like PlayStation VR, right? It's just overall better. What's the word I'm looking for? Like stat wise and stuff, just as far as spec wise. But I don't know, man. VR is like right there. It's like so close to being like a huge thing, but it's still not quite there. And it's like it's always like that when they try to release like cool I remember a while ago was it Super Nintendo? I had a Super Nintendo with a vest that vibrated when you like hit something on the screen. Like nice. They always try, I feel like, having crazy things like that are way ahead of their time. And I don't think VR is necessarily ahead of its time, but it's just not as good as I think it can be for the mass public to accept it.
I think that's gonna happen with any newer technology that's being sent out to the masses. But yeah,
I hope it catches on.
So let's get through the rest of these bad boys so everyone knows what's going on.
All right. Yes, yeah, because we spent a lot of time on Bleeding Edge and Half-Life Alyx. So
we did.
Again,
and, we are cutting short on time for our podcast recording today.
Yeah, no worries. So, all right.
more for you. You have a webinar to go on to.
Yeah, I got 15 minutes. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, see, guys, you can still do work from home. Just sign up for webinars and stuff. It's just like you're next to the people. It's fine. So, all right, again, Half-Life Alyx, March 23rd. Bleeding Edge, March 24th. Me and Ruffhouse, probably going to get that. Probably going to stream it. Ghost Recon Breakpoint Deep State downloadable content comes out March 24th. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the Ghost expansion. The Ghost Experience expansion comes out March 24th. Those are both for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. God, you know what I just realized we forgot to do?
What?
The question of the week.
Oh, well.
Oh, man.
You know what? We're going to miss the question of the week this week, guys, because unfortunately we just got preoccupied with this COVID stuff.
It's cool. The coronavirus is just taking over everything, man. Even the question of the week. Not cool.
Yeah. Well, next week, why don't we see if anyone wants to let us know what they think the question of the week should be, since we missed this week.
There we go. All right, Moons of Madness comes out March 24th. I actually pulled that up. Moons of Madness is a first-person, story-driven cosmic horror game where the scientific exploration of Mars meets the supernatural dread of Lovecraft. That actually seems interesting. It actually seems interesting.
Sounds like it.
And actually, this says... So, hold on one second. So, this is being released for PS4 and Xbox on March 24th. It is already available on PC as of this past October.
Okay, gotcha.
So, keep that in mind. War Tile is available for PS4 and Xbox on the 24th. War Tile also seems very interesting. War Tile is a cooldown-based strategy game in which you control a warband of Viking figurines in a miniature universe inspired by Norse mythology. Unravel its secrets and reign the powers of the gods. This actually is like... From the screenshots, it actually looks like a miniatures game. Like it's like playing a miniatures game virtually.
Yeah, and it is on Steam already.
Yes.
It was released in February of 2018, actually, on Steam. So this game's been around, and
mostly
it is
positive
only
reviews
$10.
too. So.
It's only $10, and if you want the deluxe edition, it is $12 on Steam right now as we speak. But yeah, it's a tile-based like figurine game, basically. Yeah.
Looks pretty cool.
If you're playing on your tabletop with stuff like that, yeah, it does actually look cool.
It looks kind of cool. That might be something I get.
Yeah, I might get it too for $12. Why not? Although it is only single player, it says, unfortunately.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, that's what it says on Steam.
Damn, that kind of stinks. I guess doing that multiplayer is probably a pretty big undertaking to have like a virtual figurine game like that. That would be cool if they could figure it out though, because one of the problems I think with stuff like that, like the miniature games, like what's that big one? What's that big miniature? Warhammer. Like one of the biggest problems is that you have to be with it now, especially now with the coronavirus. You have to be in the group of people. It's just like Dungeons and Dragons, right? But now a lot of people do Dungeons and Dragons on like Discord and stuff like that. So
yep, you can do it remotely now. So
yeah, exactly. So it's just
especially with that app.
Having a miniature game inside the computer like that and have it virtual, I think would be huge for miniature games in general.
Sure.
All right, 2 Point Hospital Off the Grid DLC for PC comes March 25th. Assemble with Care for PC comes out March 26th. Right now, that's apparently only an App Store game.
Okay.
Apple. So it says it's a story about taking things apart and putting ourselves back together. When Maria, a globetrotting antique restorer, arrives in the sun-soaked town of Bellariva, she has no idea just how broken it will turn out to be. So I guess, yeah, she's just like helping fix things in the town and stuff. This seems like a really weird game. I don't know how I feel about this game, but to each their own, I guess. Then we got Biped, which is for PC on March 26th. That is not released yet. This is a co-op action-adventure game with a strong focus on moment-to-moment collaboration between two players. This looks weird. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of Spyro for some reason, looking at it. It literally reminds me of Spyro the Dragon. So, and not for nothing, Spyro was a great game. I'm just saying. So, It was one of the first games I played on PlayStation, actually. Let's see. Then we got Borderlands 3, Guns, Love, and Tentacles, The Marriage of Wainwright and Hammerlock DLC. PC, PS4, Xbox, March 26th.
Yep. Which I have. I have the gold edition of Borderlands 3, so I'll probably download that. Don't know if I'll be streaming it, but I do. I could download that now, so that's good.
That's
available to me as well.
Control the Foundation DLC for PC and PS4 is March 26th. Grand Guilds for PC and Switch is March 26th. This is a story-driven tactical. I might get this. Story-driven tactical RPG with unique card combat mechanics.
Oh boy.
Yeah, follow the adventures of Eliza and her crew as they struggle to prevent an impending war. So this, oh dude, one of my all-time favorite games is Final Fantasy Tactics. And this is literally Final Fantasy Tactics with cards worked in.
Nice.
This looks really fun.
Is this single player only though?
Oh, is it? What with the single players? Why do they do that? Are you sure?
Yeah, looking at it right now on Steam. Yeah.
Oh, that's so disappointing. They really gotta make
looks
stuff
really
like
cool
this.
though. I'll add it to my wish list to see.
Yeah,
see what's happening.
This does look really cool. All right, then we got Grand Blue Fantasy Versus for PS4 on the 27th. It looks like it's already on Steam as of last week. This is a new game in the Grand Blue Fantasy universe. I have not played any Grand Blue Fantasy games. It does look kind of like an RPG. The fantasy game blends fighting game action and RPG style adventure. Throw yourself into matches or enjoy powering up your characters. This kind of looks interesting too. You know, the problem is now that I am quarantined, there's going to be so many games I didn't know existed, and I'm going to want to play every single one of them. So I might end up going into debt just because of this freaking quarantine.
No, you'll be all right.
All right, Lost Worlds Beyond the Page is March
Stadia
27th. Oh, wow. I didn't even catch that. Holy crap. We have a Stadia game. Is this only Stadia?
It's what you say on your...
No, it's also in Steam.
Okay.
It's... Oh, wait. So, wait a second, though. It says Steam is 2021.
Okay, so Stadia gets it first.
Stadia gets it first. Stadia doing something. Ooh, look at this. Lost Worlds is a 2D narrative adventure game where players move words to solve puzzles. The game features a story written by Rhianna Pratchett and ties the narrative into the gameplay in an unusual way by having the player running on and interacting with words to solve puzzles. This is definitely a unique game. I have never seen a game like this, and it won Best Indie Game, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
So that comes out March 27th for the Stadia. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 comes out for PC, PS4, Xbox, and Switch on March 27th. If you all don't know what One Piece is, it's an amazing anime. You should probably watch it. Saints Row 4. Yeah, Pirates. Saints Row 4 Re-Elected. Switch. March 27th. And Saints Row is Grand Theft Auto V2. So, I'm surprised Saints Row's done that well, actually, considering Grand Theft Auto is so big. Saints Row still does pretty well.
People like some of those games, so
yeah. That'll do it, huh?
Well, that's gonna do it for this edition of Game Wild. Again, for coming on board to listen to us or watch us on YouTube. Please make sure, once again, if you can, please give us any positive ratings you can. 5 stars where you can. Comments, questions, please put them in our YouTube chat. And like I said, come see us on Twitch where we can interact with us live. I'm going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I know SJW is going to try to do more than his normal, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot Saturday this week.
So, good.
So Twitch, YouTube, lots of content for you guys.
So once again, we want to thank everyone for coming aboard this week, and we will catch you next week for another edition of Game Wild.
Oh yes, everybody stay healthy.